Welcome to Using Your Teacher Voice, Volume 4. Yes, I'm still going at it, and that's very exciting to me. Today, I wanted to touch on something that kind of brought some things home for me. I know we've talked about, I and other educators, we kind of get together and, we point out what some of the challenges are, what some of the problems are. And one of the things that I've talked about a lot before with others kind of came home this week, and it really made it not only illustrative, indicative of what's going on, but really made it personal. This weekend, my daughter wanted me to take her to the library. She wanted to get new books to read for her AR goal. She said that, she didn't like the books that were at school. She wanted something new and different. And I was okay with that. I thought that was a great thing. Very excited to see that she wanted something new and different. I have an app on my phone that allows me to scan books and get their ER or their AR levels and their points and whatever. And so she had a great time scanning books and looking for, what the levels are and what they were worth. She picked out a couple books, so very excited. We'll get home. She starts reading them. At the time, I knew she was working toward her AR goal. I knew that she was short of her AR goal. I didn't realize she was as far behind as what she ended up being. And well, she had got a plan. She had a plan. If the students in her class, if they met their AR goal for the quarter, they were going to go on a field trip to a park right down the street from the school. City park's called Fortress of Fun, and she was really looking forward to that. She wanted to go there with all her friends. Well, she was kind of far away. She needed 13 points. And she had a plan. She was going to read 3 books a night and take the quizzes in the morning, and she was going to make up her 13 points. I know that was an unrealistic goal. I didn't realize at the time that she was, 13 points away. I do have to give her credit for thinking it out and coming up with a plan, even though it was a little unrealistic. But I got to give her some credit for thinking ahead like that. Um, but it kind of worried me. And what happened was, I just sent an email to her teacher, and I just wanted to double check where she was and kind of make sure that we were on the same page. And the teacher sent me back her numbers and her goal, and she was right where I thought she was. Those numbers were about where I thought she was. And then the teacher pointed out that, she wasn't making her goal because she was reading her books too quickly. She wasn't absorbing the information. She wasn't taking it, comprehending well. And therefore she wasn't passing the test. And I knew that. I knew that was going on. Not only was she rushing to get through things, but yeah, she was stressed, and she wasn't reading for content. She was just reading to get it done. I knew that. But then the teacher said something, and it really brought home what I see as one of the real problems that we face today. The teacher said in one sentence, she said, Kenna needs to read more for entertainment, not to meet an AR goal. Totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think that we need to instill in our students, not only the love of reading, but just, the ability to read, the want to read, the desire to read. But then a couple sentences later, she said, Kenna did not meet her AR goal. She will not be allowed to go on the field trip. And that just really hit me because on one hand, we were talking about what we should be doing, developing, that desire to read in students, allowing them to read for their own enjoyment. But then on the other hand, it pointed out that, that they weren't reading for fun. This was a goal. This was a task. This was a measured event. And it really brought home, again, what I think is one of the problems in education that we keep coming back to, and that is how standardized testing is somehow sucking all the fun out of school, the enjoyment out of school, and is maybe kind of destroying some of kids' curiosity and wonder and excitement about learning, in particular reading. Now, let me preface this by saying that I am all about teacher accountability. I think that teachers need to be held accountable. I think we need to prove what we are doing is good and right, and that we are doing what we need to be doing, and that is helping students succeed and preparing them for the next step, be that the next grade, or what comes after high school, going to college, or the workforce, and just being a good person in our community. I know we need to do that. You go to McDonald's, you're expected to make burgers a certain way and put them in certain wrappers in a certain way for the next person so they know what to hand out. I know that. Bank tellers, they only get so many mistakes on their cash register before they're fired. You have to show competency in your work. And I know teachers need to do that as well. The challenge for teachers, though, is that we don't necessarily get all the same raw materials. That we get students in our room that aren't necessarily excited about learning because they're kind of worried about where they're going to spend the night that night or what they're going to eat for dinner. Maybe they're just not excited about learning because there's something going on in their lives that just makes it the second or third or fourth priority. Maybe the parents don't have that desire to learn, and that kind of hinders the student. They don't see it as important, and so it just passes on. There's a lot of things that go on that prevent the learning. No matter what you as the teacher do, it's hard for the student to buy in. And so I know that's part of the challenge. And then I look at something like this, these standardized tests that are made to show not only how the student is succeeding, but in a way measuring the teacher's abilities. And for Kenna, for my daughter, she was looking at reading not as something she wanted to do, not as something that was going to be fun for her, but it was a task, it was a job. And in all reality, she was earning a paycheck. That paycheck was that trip to the city park, to the Fortress of Fun. That was what she wanted to do. That's what she was working to, and she basically was told, you do X, Y, Z, you will get that reward. Reading wasn't fun. Reading wasn't something she wanted to do. It's something she had to do. Now I know there's a fine line between those two. I know in education we can't just let students want to do something, and unless you want to do it, we're not going to do it. But that whole idea that you have to read this, you have to take a test on it, and you have to get 8 out of 10 of them right, or you don't pass, and you don't get any credit for this. And the idea that you are losing out on something, that something is being taken away from you because you didn't perform up to a certain level. And I think that's kind of tough, and I worry that sometimes we're sucking these kids' desire to learn. John Carl, a guy I teach with who's just a great teacher, he's excited, he's motivated, and he's innovative. And not only is he passionate about teaching, but he's passionate about his content area, which is really a rare combination sometimes. He's said that many times in his teacher keynote that he gave at EREF this summer. He made that comment, and he said that he sees his daughter excited about learning right now, but he's worried about what happens when he sends her to school, and they don't measure excitement, they only measure ABCD. And did you get the right choice out of an ABC question? Or can I take something that you do and measure it on a rubric? How do you measure my daughter was excited to go to the library and was excited about scanning books and was excited about picking books, not only that she was interested in, but that met a goal of hers, met the, that filled a requirement. She was, not only picking books, for content, but she was comparing them to a task that she had, and she was thinking it through logically. How do you measure that on a rubric? And I'm afraid that, sometimes we will be facing these challenges, and maybe we are, in a way, perpetuating part of the problem by making kids not want to learn. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Feel free to add your comments below or sending in your comments via Twitter at RHS Teach or your own video or audio comments. Thank you so much.